Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Champagne Mommy is in the building tonight.
Me too.
Dang, yours is already gone.
I know. I was very thirsty. I haven't drank in a while, actually, since Thanksgiving.
Whew. It's a bit bubbly.
I really love these usual wines because if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see they're like a glass and a half of wine. So you don't even have to open a whole bottle. Well, this is champagne, but you don't even have to open a whole bottle. And I love that.
Yeah, it's specifically 6.3 ounces.
Lovely. We love it. We love usual wines. They're very good. We haven't had them in a minute, so I'm very happy to have them again.
We haven't. I was actually thinking today about how I'm going to get more because I haven't had any of our new ones. And this was actually my last one from our last shipment we had. It's still been in my fridge because I refused to drink it. So maybe that's why it's extra bubbly. But I was thinking about it and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was like, me and Tayler have to have one tonight when we record because we're celebrating something that will soon be talked about. But I was thinking about it when we go for our cruise because I was like, I'm not driving to California ever
Absolutely
fucking again.
not. No.
And I was like, maybe I'll send a shipment to Lois, but I'll bring a second, or take a second suitcase with me and then load them in my other suitcase because I get 2 carry-on or checked bags for free. And then I could just bring them back with me.
Good idea. That is a good idea. I may do the same thing.
But also, I don't know how heavy they are. There's no way it's 50 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no chance. I bet it's probably like 20.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think that is probably what I'll do. But then I'm also like, are you going to drink them that often? I think because I'm worried about losing them, I don't drink them very much.
You're so stressed about your wine stock. Why don't you just mail them to Lois's house and then mail them to your house?
That's expensive.
Well, I mean,
and that's illegal.
If you get caught.
Well, Lois would be the one getting caught, not me. And I don't want to put my friend in that situation. Okay.
True. I'm still getting over bronchitis, so my voice is still a little scratchy. I have a very stuffy nose. I think I also got a sinus infection on top of my bronchitis because my sinuses were killing me. I'm just telling you guys that sickness was for real the worst ever.
I want you guys to know, and this is literally so stressful to say out loud, we all got very sick from LA, and my family got the stomach side of it, where basically you're just shitting yourself a lot and you have a very grumbly tummy a lot.
Did Wally get it too?
Wally finally got it just the other day. I don't know how, remember how me and Henley suddenly got sick on Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Me and Henley were super sick again Monday, which was like a week after I was already sick initially with the same situation. But this one was like full force, like constant going to the bathroom for us. And he was fine. And then it was yesterday or something. Yesterday, he finally was better. So what's today? Tuesday? Or Thursday. So it would have been Tuesday afternoon that he suddenly got hit with it and he was wiped out. I had like a minor fever for like a little bit. Like it was weird. And then it was gone after that 24 hours.
Yeah, I didn't this sickness was so weird. I didn't start feeling sick until like I had gotten home. And then it like kind of hit Tony and I all at once. And it was not good. Like it's been a very long week. On Sunday, I was so today's Thursday. So on this last Sunday, I was so sick. I literally laid on the couch all day. I didn't even brush my hair until I went back to bed. Like we have been truly not in a good place. So I'm very happy to be feeling better, but you can probably definitely still hear it in my voice. So sorry.
I also am getting a slight head cold, so that's a bummer, but I like Alka-Seltzer, so
I'm just so shocked that you're so open about pooping.
I mean, I don't normally want to tell people I had like the shits, but like I've been really sick since LA, and Monday was really bad for Henley and I.
Oh, I feel so bad. Ugh, yuck. Well, we're on the up and up. So stay healthy out there, folks.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you been using your light therapy lamp?
So I have it right here, actually. I've used it a few times, but nothing like consistent.
What does it look like? What is that? It looks like an iPad.
I know it's weird, huh? It's so freaking bright too. Like the
Turn it on.
reason it's not plugged in. Let me find the
Oh,
plug.
that's okay.
I don't have a plug by me. The reason I haven't used it a whole ton is because it is so bright. Like my eyes are kind of sensitive to light anyways, but like when I turn it on, it's like shockingly bright. So I don't know. I don't know if I love it, to be completely honest. I'm still gonna give it like a solid shot, but I haven't used it a whole ton.
Well, that's a bummer. The ones I've seen are like, oh yeah, kind of like this. Let me bring this up a little closer.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that one. This is Happy Light, and it was like Amazon's bestseller. So I was like, I'm gonna obviously try the bestseller one and see what I think. But
Yeah.
it is shockingly bright. Like, holy shit, it's bright.
I wonder if there's like tips. Like, is it supposed to just be like directly on you? Like, what's the deal?
I mean, from what I researched online, people will like keep it at like their cubicle or their desk, like right next to them. And there's no way I could do that. Like, it's like, you know how after you get a picture taken and like you can see the flash when you blink, that's how it is. Like it's so bright, and there's no setting to like dim it up a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know about it.
Well, that's a bummer because I was thinking I was going to buy one for my grandma because she gets very bad seasonal depression, but maybe I need to look into something else for her that's kind of similar. So that's good to know. My next question for you is, have you heard the recent stuff about those Ohio students that were killed in their like apartment?
Idaho?
Ohio?
Idaho.
Ohio?
No, they're from Idaho. The 4 students.
I thought it was Ohio.
It's Idaho.
Well, all the same like letters are almost in Ohio, so
It sounds the same. I will 100% agree. Okay, so honestly, I haven't heard a lot. I've been following this case because it is so weird. And there was an arrest made yesterday, but somebody, because I get all of my information from TikTok. Conspiracy theorist, I do not trust the news. So I don't watch the news. I will get my information like from actual people that aren't being paid to report things. So I get all my news mostly from TikTok. There's a few accounts that I follow that I really trust. And one of those accounts came out today and said that this man had nothing to do with it. So I did read something that there was a suspicious vehicle that the cops are looking into, but there's just really not a lot of information. And it's so creepy and so weird and so disturbing to me that it gives me the heaves. And it's actually pretty close to my house. Like it's not that far. It's a few hours away. And it just like makes me feel very uncomfortable. And I just don't like that there's no suspects, there's no information, like anything. It's weird.
Okay, so that's also what like I was thinking about it too. And I heard the update about a car that they're looking into because they think that this car was nearby and someone was in it. And I'm like, hey, where did you get that information? Because like there has been zero information. And now I'm like, I keep thinking, I'm like, how is it possible that we're unable to have any evidence of something happening? Like there's cameras everywhere. There's like, it's reminding me of like back in the day, the serial killer stuff that would go on. And it was just like nothing had evolved enough for people to have information. And it's really creepy to me that that's happening again.
I
And
know.
like, I feel like something like that's going to go on.
I think so. I'm really into true crime. Like I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts. I watch a lot of documentaries, and there's a method for that because the cops don't want to show all of their cards, so they only tell you certain things. And I really figured that out with the whole Susan Powell thing when that Cold podcast came out. There was so much happening behind the scenes that nobody knew about because the cops couldn't be like, "This is what we're doing. We're searching these mines and blah blah blah." Like they can't release what they're doing. So I don't have any doubt that there's a ton of stuff that we don't know. But the fact that like one of the victims' parents is coming out too and being like, the cops are not being helpful. Like that's where I'm kind of like, is there stuff going on behind the scenes? Like it's
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
super creepy to me and it makes me uncomfortable and it's so sad. I do not fucking trust these roommates at all. Like, I'm sorry. I've seen crime scene pictures and there was blood coming down the walls. Like, why would you call the cops hours later and be like, somebody's unconscious? Like, motherfucker, there's blood on the wall. Like, are you not scared? I don't trust them. I think it's weird.
Yeah, I think some weird shit went down. It almost gives me like vibes of like something was going on in that group
Yeah.
and something got out of hand. I don't really know. It's very uncomfortable to me, but I'm happy that you are also on the same page and equally as bothered. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my next question for you is, did you hear about those kids at Hunter High School recently, which is a local high school for us? The two kids are killed, one's in critical condition, and the kid that killed them just got sentenced. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, it happened a few years ago, right? The killing happened like a year or so ago, and the kid got just juvenile detention until he's 18.
He literally gets 6 years in juvenile detention for killing two people, and one is still possibly going to die. And I was thinking about that. I was listening to it today when I was driving to work, and I was just like, if I was those parents,
I would
I
be
would be
livid.
outraged. Like, you
Mhm.
kill two people and you get 6 years in juvie and then
Yeah.
you're out free. Like, that kid's not going to be reformed by then,
Mhm.
first of all. And like, is that worth two people's lives? So I just
Yep.
wanted to know if you also felt that way.
100%. I feel that way. It's, I don't know, man. These whole, and this can get very political. I'm definitely not going to take it down that rabbit hole. All of these killings, like even that killing that just happened at that gay bar in Colorado, like there just doesn't seem to be enough repercussions for doing that. And it's like you're literally murdering somebody. Like something is not right in your head. And why is nobody like taking it as big of a deal as it needs to be? You know what I mean?
Well, and also that FedEx driver who just randomly picks
Yeah,
up that little
kidnap that
girl,
girl.
like,
Yeah.
and then kills her. Like, what on earth is going on in people's minds? But I also was thinking too, because I get really into stuff like this in the winter. For some reason, it gives me those vibes. Is this like a seasonal depression type thing too, where people, but that guy was in Texas. So like that's
Yeah.
probably not winter. I don't know. I just like there's just so many weird things that I keep thinking, like, what's triggering these people?
Yeah, it's so like I've been following the shooting in Colorado really heavily too because the guy that stopped it is absolutely amazing. If you've listened to his story about all of it,
Yeah.
and what possesses somebody to walk into a bar, they're not hurting you. Going to a drag show, who cares? You don't agree with it? That's fine. Don't go to the bar. What possesses somebody to walk into a bar and murder people for just being there?
I
Like,
know.
I can't wrap my head around that being a a road that somebody decides to take.
I don't know, man. Life is truly wild and it makes me sad and it's so scary because like it could literally happen to anyone at any time of day,
Mm-hmm.
at anything. And
Anywhere.
I really want to go to a drag show, by the way.
Me too. So bad. We have a actually really good drag scene up in Logan. So you should definitely, they're starting to do drag shows up here and I really want to go.
They do them downtown, and I was actually telling I told Wally I was gonna take Henley to one time, and he was like, "Really?" Because like he's a little on the fence still about that stuff. And I was like, she would love it because there was that one on Dancing with the Stars,
Uh-huh.
just barely, and like Henley was like, she's glamorous, and I was like,
Yeah,
yes,
they're
she
so
is.
fun. That Pride night that I went to that like we did the drag bingo, it was so fun. Like they just have the biggest personality and it's so fun.
Yeah, I'm totally down for it. My next thing I want to talk about is I just booked 3 sessions today to get micro needling done, and I'm
Ooh.
actually really excited and terrified all at the same time.
You've got it done before, right? Micro
Nope.
needling. Oh, you got microblade.
No, I haven't done that either.
What did you
This is
get
the
done
one
to
that's
your
supposed to help you
eyebrows?
get rid of um dark spots and acne scarring, and it's like all the
Oh,
little needles, and it's like a little bit intense.
what did you do to your eyebrows? I thought you got a microbladed.
Oh, I did get my eyebrows microbladed, yes.
Okay. But yeah, what's it
Ne-
called?
Micro
Needling.
needling. It's supposed to be really great, but this girl that I know, I met her in high school randomly. She went to Provo High, and she does, she's an esthetician, and I just always follow her page because I'm obsessed with like facials and skincare and all of that stuff, which is so funny because remember when we first started the podcast and I didn't even use moisturizer yet?
And let me tell you, I just got the moisturizer that Shelby uses, the Kristen Cavallari. Obsessed. It's
I
so
told
great.
you.
It's so great. I'm actually, listen, I love Kristen Cavallari, but I was a little bit iffy. I won't lie.
I
And
told you
it's
it was good.
amazing. I'm very pleasantly surprised.
Did you get the eye cream?
No, I just got the moisturizer because I was a little bit iffy. And now I wish I would have taken full advantage of that Black Friday sale.
Yeah, I just got my package. I had the moisturizer refill, I got eye cream refill, and the pineapple nectar refill. I forgot I bought all of that. And I only spent like $80.
Yeah, it was a good deal. And I wish I would have just bought the whole collection, but oh well, it's very amazing. I highly recommend. I'm actually obsessed with it.
God, that makes me so fucking happy. I think that was my first F word. Anyways, back to my micro needling. I'm not getting it until February because of our cruise and like all these other things I have going on. But I've actually been wanting to have her on the podcast. So I think I'm going to ask her when I get it done if she'll come on our podcast and like talk to us about some skincare stuff because,
I would love
oh,
that.
also she does this facial and she has this mask that's made out of crystals. And I can't remember which crystal it is. I think she has multiple ones, but it's like to help with your healing with crystals while you have this mask on your face. And I
Ooh,
saw it the other day and I was like, I want
send
that.
me her account. I want to follow her.
But part of the problem is she's down in like Provo, like Spanish Fork. Like she's a bit of a drive. It's
Ooh,
going to
that
take me
is far.
50 minutes to get there.
Oh, that is far.
I
Spanish
know,
Fork is far.
but it was a flash sale on her micro needling. So I got 3 of them for only like $340, which is
Well, that's a good
actually
price.
insanely cheap. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I did have a panic though, because I was talking to my friend Sadie and she was like, is that going to affect your Bell's palsy though? And I was like, holy shit, I didn't think about that. I did a quick Google search. It said one article said like it could make it act up. And I was like, what?
Really?
So then I asked her and she was like, from what I can see, no, but if you want to have like your medical provider, like look into it. And I was like, A, don't fucking have a medical provider. Let's start there. And B, I think I'll be fine because the more I thought about it, like I did acupuncture and stuff, and it's just like a
Yeah,
bunch of tiny needles like penetrating, and that's actually probably good for my nerves.
maybe. Yeah.
So
Well,
we'll
bitch, you
see.
better get Botox first because I really need Botox.
Well, listen, you can't get Botox before. So it's like the very first week at weekend or so, it's like right at the very beginning of February, like right when we get back from our cruise. So I feel like I'll be fine. I want to get it done before I do my Botox because you can't
Okay.
get it done for 30 days if you've had Botox. Isn't that
Okay, that's
crazy?
fine as long as we can get Botox after because I really actually need Botox right now.
I know. I don't know. I don't need a lot right now, but I'm starting to see a little bit of the signs. And then I was like, okay, but I also remember when Nas was talking to us, she said that it's good to let it go a little bit because we're younger, that if we get too familiar with it, our body will just stop knowing how to use its own muscles. So I was thinking
Yeah.
it might be good for us to make sure we have movement more so we can like get our muscle strength still, because I don't want to be that lady in her 50s that like
Me
can't
either.
do anything because her face doesn't have muscles anymore.
Yeah, me either. Ugh, yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Also, my legs look very tan.
I was gonna say, did you go tanning?
No, but I was actually thinking this morning how much I needed to remind people that I'm a self tanner now and I still love my self tanner. And like, look how tan I look in the middle of fucking winter.
I know. I was gonna say your legs look like you went tanning.
Nope. I am no longer a tanner, which again,
Good.
I used to tan at the beginning of this podcast. This podcast like has reformed me or something.
It really has. I can't wait to go over our like last episode of the year where we just dive into the whole year because I feel like we've made so many changes this year.
Maybe by then you'll actually use your self tanner that you
I know,
have and realize that you don't need to get a spray tan anymore and this shit's legit. Like I'm not joking. No splotches. It's the easiest thing to do. It takes 5 minutes and it looks great.
I know. I have that self tanner. I've not even opened it. I'm scared. I'm terrified of it.
I don't know what I think you just need to bring it and I'm gonna put it on you.
I think so. I think I do need to do that.
Just try it on your arm. That's what I did the first time. I just put it like I knew I was gonna wear a sweater that day. So I put it on my arm to see what it looked like. And then I was like, oh shit.
Oh, I
Yes.
like this.
Yeah. Try it. Do a test sample. The last thing I want to address is freaking Hillary Duff, man. Like, did you see that new show I sent you? I sent you like I think I sent it to you today. It's like a new show that she's in.
Oh, I haven't checked my Instagram messages for a minute if it was on Instagram. I saw her freaking cover of that magazine though. Holy shit, I'm obsessed with Hillary Duff. She is absolutely stunning. I think she's funny. I love her so much. Like truly, I will watch anything that she's in.
Let me see if I can find it.
You sent me some like Jennifer Lopez movie situation.
Maybe I sent it to someone else.
Sad.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I'll have to find it. Anyway, she looks freaking bomb, and I just can't get over how like freaking Lizzie McGuire had such a glow up.
I know, and I'm still bitter that they did not reboot Lizzie McGuire like they were supposed to.
I know. I think it's a bummer too, but I don't know. I think she might be better than that now. And she's just so beautiful and so like original. And I kind of just want to be her. Her and Kristen Cavallari, I want to be a mixture of them.
I know. I truly love Hillary Duff. I really do.
Well, those are my only updates. I don't know what updates you have.
Well, I'm going to be talking a lot today, you guys. I'm making up for last week because I have a lot to say. Pretty sure Britney Spears is dead. Pretty sure she's dead. Not even joking. There's some really weird shit happening in the Britney Spears universe. And I think she might be dead. Truly, I think that. If you guys follow her on Instagram, it was deactivated. It's activated again today. Don't know why she does that, or i.e. why Sam and Jamie Lynn do that, because it's weird as shit. Okay. If you guys saw her Instagram, she posted a happy birthday thing to Jamie Lynn. Completely unlike her. Nobody likes Jamie Lynn. And all of the videos that Sam posts on his Instagram, pretty sure are recordings of her voice. And if she was alive and if she was fine, just come out and say, hey, you guys, I'm alive. I'm fine. Everybody stop worrying. I'm just going through this years and years and years of trauma. Give me my space. But the fact that she won't come out and say anything really makes me question things. You know?
I'm just Googling right now. Oh, trauma. I'm Googling right now. And I said, is Britney Spears dead?
I am pretty sure she's not alive. But
why? What makes you think she's not alive?
Because Sam, I've never trusted him, honestly. He posted, so there's a lot of videos that he's been posting, and there's one specifically, you need to get on your TikTok because I've been sending you these things. There's one that he specifically posted on her birthday, and he was like, "Come on, man, we've got to go." And he like turned and was holding his phone, and you could see like Britney and somebody behind him. And then he turned again, and they were in the exact same place, and they literally look like cardboard cutouts. Not even joking. Why would she not move? It's so weird. All the videos that she's been posting on her Instagram when her Instagram is up are all from COVID. They're all in her old house, and she apparently moved. Like, why would she be posting those videos? And I'm sorry, but OnlyFans is a really big deal right now. Why is she posting nude pictures on Instagram when she could be getting paid to post nude pictures? Nobody's going to be posting nude pictures on their Instagram. Nobody. She would have an OnlyFans. She's not going to post that shit for free.
I think she's better than that.
She's literally posting her nude body for free on Instagram.
I think she likes it. I think she thinks it's funny to cause a scene.
I don't think so at
I
all.
think she's like a weird, immature, mentally unstable person.
So why would she not just come out and say, "Guys, I'm fine. Stop with all of these rumors. Stop with all these hashtags. Stop with all these TikToks. I'm fine. Just give me my space."
Maybe
Why
she
would
doesn't
not
know
come out?
how, or maybe she doesn't even know that they're happening. Like,
So
hello.
then have Sam, who's always on Instagram, always online, have him put her on there and say, "Hey, Britney, tell your fans to leave you the fuck alone."
I don't
But he
know. A
doesn't
lot
do
of
that.
people don't address a lot of the dumb shit around them. Like, is Taylor Swift addressing the fact that she potentially also is some person dead from a long time ago?
No, she's
See,
not.
no one addresses them.
I think it's weird. And Sam is like, "What movies can I be in? What podcast can I go on?" Like, he's totally in it for the fame and probably the money. I don't trust him. I think she might be dead. Truly, I think she is dead.
I don't think she's dead. I think that she's very unstable. I don't think she probably even understands the internet or how to use it half the time. And she probably has a bunch of videos of herself and likes to just repost them. And who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. I just cannot picture somebody posting their nude body on Instagram when you could be making money on it through OnlyFans. People would subscribe to her OnlyFans.
Okay,
You don't
time
need
the
to
fuck
post
out.
that for free.
Time the fuck out. If these people were trying to keep her alive, see, like she's not actually alive for like attention for themselves, don't you think they'd also just be putting her on OnlyFans to collect that money anyways? So like they're like that wouldn't make sense either. If they were actually just doing this to keep money flowing, they would put her on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Maybe
very
she does have
strange.
OnlyFans. You guys don't know. She could be under a different freaking thing and just not show her face.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe that's why she's taking them to begin with. And then
There's
she
a
just
lot of rumors and suspicions floating around. The biggest one though is that she committed suicide and that her team is trying to cover it up to keep that cash flow going. And so that's the biggest, like, what everybody believes. But did you see the video that Sam posted of like him saying happy birthday and it never showed her, but her voice was like super weird? That she was like, "Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby. Oh, yeah, baby." Did you see that video?
wasn't she sick or something and he brought her something?
No, it was her birthday, and he was like lighting a candle on a cupcake for her, and it was made to look like she was holding the camera so you could just see him, and he's like, "Okay, baby, here you go." And she was like, "Thank you, baby." But it literally sounds like a phone call, like a recorded phone call. And at the end when she was like, "Okay, baby," and it sounded like she was going to say bye, but it was like cut out and then the video like ends. It definitely sounds like a recorded phone call.
I mean, honestly, I just can't with the fact that people are over analyzing this bullshit to this level. Like, you see it, you listen to it, and you're like, that's weird, and you move on because why the fuck else are we diving into it? Like, what's the purpose? I don't understand. People are wasting so much fucking time dealing with these things and like investigating them when they could probably be doing something way more important for their life. And my mind
You're
cannot make
right,
sense
probably.
of the fact that people are like with a microscope of like, did you hear her voice in this video? It does not. Oh my gosh, what is this? It sounds like a voicemail. Like who listens to these that many times to like start fucking with their heads to get to this level? Like I just can't. I told you the other day, if we get to heaven and all of this is true, I will fucking own it. But as of right now, I think everyone needs to get a fucking life and stop
It's just
focusing on it.
so weird. And another thing that one of our listeners pointed out that I thought nobody was paying attention to, Tara Reid on freaking TikTok sings these songs and she is batshit crazy as well. Like, what is happening to these celebrities?
Who even
Madonna,
is that?
Tara Reid. Have you seen Josie and the Pussycats?
No.
Have you seen American Pie?
When I was like 10.
Wow. What else was she in? Sharknado?
No.
If you
I
Van
am a
Wilder, have
productive
you seen Van
person.
Wilder?
I don't have time to deal with all these things. I'm doing things that actually matter in the world, okay?
Well, I don't know. Tara Reid's batshit crazy. Madonna's batshit crazy. I feel like social media has made these celebrities go insane, and I just can't even. It's like a train wreck that you just can't look away.
I don't think it's social media. I think it's a bunch of shiz that was happening to them and drugs and all sorts of different medications and things that they were doing prior to social media. And now they just like, I don't know. I get on social media and I say a bunch of stuff. People could think I'm crazy, you know? It's their outlet.
Yeah, I don't know.
They give zero fucks.
Truly, they truly do. And it is just very strange, very strange. So if you guys are following this Britney Spears thing, I know Shelby doesn't like conspiracy theories. Let me know, because let me know if you think she's dead or alive or being held captive. Let me know your thoughts. I think she's dead.
I care about facts, and if I can't see actual facts, then I move on. The same with COVID. Like I didn't believe COVID. Everyone's freaking out, and I had people last night at dinner were just like, yeah, COVID affected us all so much. At some point, we all just went through it, and I was just sitting there like, I fucking had a great time during COVID. I have no idea what everyone's talking about, where it's like, we've been through so much. It's like, I literally didn't stress. I didn't like freak out about all these things. I just don't. Unless I can see something factual, I just move on with my regular life and do what I can to deal with regular life than freaking out about stuff or like thinking about stuff that doesn't actually have facts to go with it. I don't know.
See that.
It's weird.
I feel like my conspiracy theories are pretty factual, but you know.
I don't think those are facts.
I'm just kidding, but honestly, it is weird. But I enjoy this stuff. So, you know, it's a good time for me. It's like my relaxing time is researching conspiracy theories.
I wonder what I do in my relaxing time. I don't think I have relaxing time.
Oh, so anyways, that was what I had to say about pop culture situations. Now I am going to talk about my ketamine life and kind of where I'm at in life right now, because there's been a lot of new changes in my life. And yeah, so that's where we're going to go today. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Should I be nervous? I don't even think I know this information. I know one piece of your information, I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so ketamine has been a very crazy experience. I think I've mentioned in the podcast that I switched therapists. I told you all that, right?
I don't think you did yet. I think you were waiting to talk about this. I don't know, you could have like lightly mentioned it, but I don't think we actually mentioned the fact that like your therapist was a bitch.
Yeah.
And you switched therapists, which I feel like we would have talked about it, and I don't think we did.
Okay. So I switched therapists. I've been seeing in-person therapy again, which I haven't done since 2019. So that is in and of itself, Zoom therapy and in-person therapy. In-person is way better. If you can only do Zoom, still go to therapy, but if you are able to do in person, definitely go for in person because it's a completely different experience. So sorry.
Wait, unless your therapist plays with her toes, because then Zoom therapy is great because my therapist plays with her toes and it's fucking weird.
Yes, if they have a weird quirk that freaks you out, stick to Zoom. But yeah, it's been a completely life-changing situation to have an in-person therapist. So I've been pairing my therapy with ketamine. I'll do them on the same day. So I have Wednesdays off. So I would teach yoga in the morning. So let me just go through my whole day on a Wednesday. I would teach yoga in the morning. The theme for my class, I would do whatever I wanted to get from my ketamine. So whether it was to release or find happiness, find gratitude, find peace, whatever it was, I would make that the theme for my class just so that I was in the right headspace for it. And then after my class, I would do my own personal meditation to just really like solidify what I want my intention to be. Because when you do ketamine, you really want to go in with an intention because that can kind of guide your thoughts to what you need. So yeah, I would have a very clear intention and then I would go do ketamine. Tony would bring me home. I would take a little nap or I would rest, watch a movie, like really wouldn't do much. And then I would go to therapy like later in the afternoon, early evening. So everything was just like, it was just kind of a giant healing, exhausting day. Therapy already makes me very tired. So adding the ketamine on top of that, like it was exhausting, but truly life changing. And I feel like these last few weeks, I have made such big strides in healing that I don't think I could have made without ketamine. So ketamine is kind of different. I don't even know. It's so hard to explain. So I'm going to try my best, but ketamine is kind of different for everybody. And for me, I didn't see a lot of things. I didn't see a lot of imagery. I just felt a lot of things, like a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. And then everything would kind of click after. I feel like it opened my mind up so much that when I would go to therapy, there would be all these little loose ends that I would connect. I would be like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Like, oh, this makes sense. So I feel like my therapy sessions were so impactful because I was connecting things, I was clicking things. And it could be because my therapist that I have now is amazing. My one that I had before, she was good for Tony and I. She was a great couples therapist for a time. She wasn't a great individual therapist. Yeah, I feel like she didn't really know or didn't want to deal with individual things. She kind of thrived more in the couple situation. So my new therapist, he's really a great individual therapy guy. And yeah, so the ketamine just really opened things up. And I feel like it just really made a big, big impact.
Did your old therapist tell you not to do ketamine?
I never even got the chance to tell her I was doing it. My last therapy appointment with her, she kind of, without giving too many details, because it's not all stuff I want to share with the world, but Tony and I were having a lot of arguments about things that were triggering me. I went into an individual therapy session trying to figure out why I was being triggered by the situations that were happening. And she turned it all around on me and said that I was being selfish and that I wasn't being kind enough, that I wasn't being open enough with him. And I am not somebody who runs away from taking responsibility of things. I wasn't trying to say that I wasn't wrong in any of the situation, but I was not in a couples therapy appointment. I wasn't trying to fix the problems between Tony and I. I was trying to fix the problem that I was having and why I was being triggered in the way that I was being triggered. And the fact that she blew that off and said I was being selfish in my relationship, I do not think was good at all. And she was blaming a lot of stuff on childhood trauma, which was interesting because we never went through childhood trauma. There was a handful of times in the past 8-9 years I've been seeing her that we even talked about my childhood. So I was like, you can't really say that to me when you don't even know what my childhood trauma is. Because anytime I try and talk about things like with my dad or stuff that has happened, you kind of connect it to Tony in some way, which it's completely, I didn't even know Tony at the time. It has nothing to do with Tony. Like, it had nothing to do with my relationship. The things that I was being triggered about were things that my dad used to do. It had nothing to do with my relationship. The only thing that had to do with my relationship is how I was taking it out on Tony. And I was trying to figure out why I was doing that. So basically, she made me really upset. I was bawling, and she was just like digging the knife in deeper, deeper, deeper. And when that happens, I just completely shut down, which, yes, that is childhood trauma. And I had told her that, so she should have known that. And she kept telling me, like, don't shut down. You're shutting down. And I was like, bitch, I know I'm shutting down because I'm being attacked. Like, why would I open up to you when you're attacking everything I'm saying? Like, so it was a really bad therapy appointment. I was going to tell her I was doing ketamine at that time, and I was nervous to tell her because she is kind of weird about that stuff, but I never got the chance to even tell her I was doing it.
Interesting. Okay, so then my next thought is, I wonder if ketamine has been so helpful for you to connect dots, because we've talked about this, I think, on another episode, where like my head constantly is processing these types of things of like, that's why I think in my head a lot more, and then I'm able to like vocalize it, or I connect dots a lot, and like I'm always trying to like work through and like piece things together, because like finding a why or understanding things like that are like crucial for me. And my therapist is always like, you don't always have to have a why, but like I'm always searching for whys, and which is probably childhood trauma, because I'd always be like, why did my parents leave me?
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if ketamine was so helpful for you because it gave you that chance to like feel things and think internally, like with your head.
Mm-hmm.
And normally you don't do that. Normally you're filling yourself with a bunch of activities, and you're running from things, or you're like trying to have all of these different things going on so you don't have to focus on those things. And maybe you sitting there and like having this treatment done that forced you to be in your head feeling things and understanding things, and then once you verbalize them, you're like, oh, I got it. Because that's sometimes how mine work for me, is like I'll be mentally processing a lot of stuff, and then I'll say something to my therapist, and I'm like, and that's where the connection is. But it's like until I spoke it out loud, because I was already processing it,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't fully close that circle. And I bet that's probably why it has been super helpful, because your head's not normally in that space.
Yes, yes. I totally agree with
Interesting.
that. The thing about plant therapy, psychedelics, I've done a ton of research with it, and I truly believe that they work in the way that you need them to work. So Tony's currently doing ketamine sessions. I'm not going to share a whole ton because that's his journey if he wants to talk about it. The only thing that I will share is it gives him a ton of energy, which for me, it was the complete opposite. I was exhausted. I was tired, and it really like kind of made me recluse like into my mind, where it does the opposite thing for him. And from everything I've seen with ketamine, with like cannabis, and with the little amount I've seen with mushrooms, it gives you the things that you need in order to work through whatever it is you need to work through, whether it's your trauma, whether it's anxiety, depression, PTSD, whatever it is. It works in a way that your brain wants it to work, that your brain needs to work. And so you're absolutely right, is I don't process things in my mind, but when I did ketamine, I would be so tired with it that it would force me to be in my mind and be like, okay, let's think about that image that I saw, or let's think about this feeling that I felt, and why was I feeling that? So it was a big internal thing for me.
I think one of the things my therapist told me about like different, because we talk about a bunch of different, like, I don't even know what they're called, like ways of processing, or like, I don't know, just like different versions of therapy, which is like, this is a different version of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we talk about different ones, she always mentions that like these unlock pieces that your brain hasn't been able to use, or these unlock pieces that your body hasn't been able to use. So like all of the different types of treatment. And I think that's what people tend to forget, because it is tied to something that's a drug or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What was the word for it when I was naming all those things, like kitty, so I don't remember. Remember all those weird terms?
Yes, yes.
But I think sometimes people forget that it still has the same effect. Like it's still unlocking something that your brain no longer knows how to process, or your body no
Mhm.
longer knows how to process because it was rewired. And this helps connect those wires back together so that
Mhm.
you can get through things. Like that's the whole point of these, like of therapy in general, but also the different types of therapy.
Mhm. And that's the biggest thing about ketamine is it literally opens up like things in your brain that you've because when you have a traumatic, let's use a traumatic experience, for example, let's use veterans, for example, when they are in war and they see these horrible things, they come home and they still have to function in a daily life. So they don't have any other choice but to shut off that memory, that part of their brain in order to live every day. But there's still going to be that little part that's nagging them, and it will show up in anxiety, depression, PTSD, alcohol use. Like it will show up in those ways because it's still in your brain. Like you still have to process the things that you saw. And that's what ketamine does is it will open that up in a loving way and be like, hey, let me give you this big giant bear hug and let's work through this. Let's not run away from this anymore. Like I was so afraid of it, and there's nothing to be afraid of because it is, and it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it truly is a very loving way to deal with whatever it is you need to deal with. We have so many veterans that come into the clinic, night and day difference when they start doing their ketamine treatments, literally night and day difference, because it's not bringing those images to their mind of remember when this person died in front of you, like watch this person die. It's helping you process the things that you've seen. And I don't know, plant medicine and psychedelic use is the craziest thing. And I'm so happy that healing and therapies are going this way because it works with your brain in a great way. Like if you take medication, there's nothing wrong with taking medication for anxiety, depression. I never want to give anybody that idea that it's wrong to take medication. But when you work with medication, it's a band-aid, and it just kind of it makes you numb a little bit. And ketamine, mushrooms, cannabis, it doesn't do that. It puts you in the right mind frame that you can work through these things. It
Well, and
doesn't numb you.
I think that's what's important about them too, especially in like a controlled environment like you guys are doing, because it is temporary. It's not something that you're just taking a pill every day and you're going
Mm-hmm.
about regular life. Because if you're taking a pill every day, like again, no shade at people that are doing this, but like if you really think about it, you're taking a pill every day and then you're just continuing on with your regular day to try and feel normal. At any point during the day, are you ever stopping and being like, okay, now that I've taken this pill, let me process why I'm taking this pill. How can I
Mm-hmm.
fix it so I don't need this pill? You know, like it's giving you that band-aid so you can just live without actually dealing with it. And there's resources out there like ketamine that are making it so people can heal from it and not
Mm-hmm.
have to take a band-aid every day.
Exactly. Exactly. So I think it's just really powerful. And granted, my trauma, my PTSD is nothing like some other people experience, but trauma is trauma. And what's traumatic to me may feel in my mind when I'm, processing like my blood clot and situations with my dad, like that feels so heavy and so scary that it doesn't matter what your trauma is. Like, it trauma is trauma, and you have to confront the trauma. And I don't know, it was a very crazy experience. And so I finished all my treatments, and now I just go back to for boosters. I'm probably going to do one booster a month to start out with, and then move to like every other month. um Sorry, my voice is going. I think that that's kind of the path that I'm going to take with it, but it truly has been so helpful. And I've made such big connections with things that I never would have before. And I feel like I've made such big changes that I never would have before. Like, and it may seem stupid. I shared it on my Instagram story yesterday, but I've had Gypsy's bowl, both of her bowls, her water and her food, full of food, just the way she left it. And like, I couldn't bring myself to clean it. Like, it was just like so final to me to clean it. And my therapist gave me, oh my gosh, sorry. I don't know where
Do
my
you need a
voice,
drink of water?
I don't know. Let me take a break. So my therapist gave me the job to clean her bowls. He said, like, you need to clean her bowls. Just clean the bowls, put them back in the pantry, whatever. And I was seeing him today. And so yesterday I was cleaning my house and I was like, I have to fucking clean these bowls. I cleaned my whole house and I was like, Tayler, just clean the damn bowls. And I finally did. It was so hard. It was so sad. I cried for probably about 30 minutes after. And I still like, because her bowls are right by my pantry. And every time like I walk into my pantry, it like kind of stings my heart. But like I did it. And that was a big thing for me. And it seems so silly, but like the fact that I could do that and the fact that I can talk about death is such a big difference from where I started, that I couldn't even say the word death or die or acknowledge the fact that like I'm going to die one day. Like I am making such big progress, like a lot of progress, a lot of changes. So, and I truly don't think that I would have been able to do that without ketamine. I really don't.
It's so crazy to me how everyone is so different. Like my way of like dealing with things is like, had those been my dog bowls, I would have been like, I would have grabbed them and I looked at Wally and been like, well, I guess we don't need these fucking things anymore. And I'd have just tossed them, you know, like I would make some like smart ass joke about it that I could like laugh about, and then I would do it, you know, like,
Mhm.
but that's just like, that's just how I go through things. I think when I've started to like think about ketamine, because you're always like, you need to do it, blah, blah, blah. And like Tony was talking to me a little bit when we were in LA about it. And I was like, are you scared? And he was like, no, not at all. And I was like, what the fuck? And I started to think about like, why am I scared? And I started to realize like, I think one of the biggest things for me is like, because it does the visual thing, that really freaks me out. And I think because I know that I have a lot of trauma around rape, I'm very scared of what those visuals would be. And I don't want
Mhm.
to see anything that's what I already see, you know, like, or what I already remember in my head. And maybe it would change what those are. And I'm sure at some point it would probably be really helpful. But for me right now, like the thought of having to like see it or
Mhm.
anything about it really fucking messes with my head. And I like can't even like I can't process that like I would be trapped in a situation where I can't stop seeing it because I'm in that state, you know, like
Mhm.
I'm someone that like if I don't like it, I'm going to change my thought pattern. I'm going to put a happy memory there and I'm going to like not think about it anymore. And if I
Mhm.
was sitting there, I'd be like, I don't want to see this anymore, you know?
Mhm.
So that I think I realized like that's what makes me not want to do it.
Mhm. And I think like that's what I'm meaning about like it's not scary. And that's I thought the same thing. I was like I'm going to see these things that I don't want to see, and I don't see a lot of visuals. And there are people that don't see anything.
Yeah.
So you never know how you're going to react, but it's not scary because it presents it in a very loving way. Like it's not like
See, but
I'm gonna
I think
show
I
this
think that's
guy
what
that
fucks with
raped
me.
you. Huh?
That's what fucks with me. Like I can't, there's no loving way. There's no loving anything with what happened to me. You know, like
Mhm.
there's not an ounce of good or positivity or there's zero love. So like there's like what can you show me that's going to help me find peace around something that's so terrible?
Mhm.
You know, like and maybe that's not what it would do for me. Maybe it would just help me connect other different things, which I'm sure it probably would. But
Yeah.
because it's like, I know it was such a nasty, terrible thing, there's no positive spin that like you can't spin that to a positive. Like that would
Mhm.
be impossible.
Yeah. I totally get that. I think the biggest thing with ketamine is be very, very clear with your brain of what you want your intention to be. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to go into it and want to deal with that situation, tell your brain, like, I
Bitch.
sound like a psycho. I totally understand. And it does not make sense until you actually do the treatments. But you tell yourself, like, okay, Shelby's brain, I'm ready to work through this situation, but I don't want it to scare me. And then for me, whenever I set any sort of intention, I do a meditation because that kind of brings to my forefront what I'm looking for. Like if I'm unclear about what I want my intention to be, like if I was in your situation and I'm unclear, like I don't know how to even work through this, like I don't know what this is going to do for me, I would do a meditation. And like going into the meditation, I would be like, because during meditation you connect, in my opinion, with your soul, right? I would tell my soul, like, tell me what I'm needing to do in this situation. And then whatever comes to my mind first, because when I'm thinking of intentions or whatever comes to my mind first is what it should be. Because anything that comes second is me trying to talk myself out of what came first. So whatever came to my mind first in regards to your situation, that's what I would set my intention to be. And I would be very, very clear. Like maybe it would be letting go. So I would go into the ketamine session and like before I would get my shot, I would be like, okay, Shelby, I'm working on letting this go. And then it kind of makes it the forefront of your brain. So when the medicine gets inside of your body, it's working together with that thought pattern that you've already created. And it makes it not be something that's scary. It doesn't mean it's not hard. I've had hard ketamine sessions that I've definitely been like, I definitely don't want to be here, but it kind of nudges me of like, it's going to be okay. Like we need to be here. This is what you wanted, but it's not anything scary, but it's hard, but not scary, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the craziest thing.
it sounds, I definitely feel like you've actually like regained who you are since you've been going. Like we had like a whole little like fight over it for a little bit where I was like, you're not yourself. And since you started going, you've actually been yourself. Like I was thinking about it just the other day. I was like, how the hell did she suddenly just become herself again? Like, because you weren't like, I don't even know how long it's felt like that, but I actually was listening to one of our podcast episodes like last year when I was trying to think of like one for us to like republish. And I heard you speak in one of them and I was like, she even sounds sad here. And like, I didn't even realize that you were in that space at that time because I think you were faking it so much. And then I think that's when it started to cripple you so much that I was like, bitch, I don't know who you are anymore. It's really weird. And ever since you went to ketamine, it's like suddenly like after your first session, it was like, oh, she's back. And it's been so wild.
It's been wild for me too, because I feel so much like myself. I feel so much more at peace. My anxiety, it's definitely still there, but it's been cut more than in half. Like, and it's when it does come, it's a lot easier for me to process it. Like right before Thanksgiving, I did some workout. I can't even remember exactly what I did, but I got this pain in the back of my calf. And like I mentioned it to Tony because I was kind of limping. And he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I have this really bad pain in my calf. And he kind of sat there like, okay, when's this spiral going to happen that it's a blood clot? And I was like, can you just look at it, make sure it's not red, whatever, like the signs for blood clot. And he did. And I could kind of tell that he was like, okay, here we go. Like, I'm going to have to talk her out of this. He's like, no, it's fine. And I was like, okay, I'll just watch it for a few days and like continued making dinner. And he was kind of like, okay, like it's been like very, I don't know, it's been very helpful for me to process a lot of things. So my big news is that I have I hate even saying this because it is a little embarrassing, but I've dropped out
Wait,
from
should I get
school.
champagne? Just kidding.
No, I've dropped out from school, which I hate the word even drop out, withdrew, whatever. I have currently stopped school. That was a decision that did come in a therapy appointment. It did come after ketamine. My heart was not in it at all. It was literally like torture for me to go and to do homework. And I didn't even want to be a teacher anymore at all. And I was literally just going because I didn't want to be a quitter in my mind. And I was telling my therapist that, and he's like, well, what's the point? And I was like, because I don't want to be a quitter. And he's like, but what's the point in not being a quitter? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, so you don't have a reason for not being a quitter? And I was like, not really. I just don't want to be. And he was like, but what's your driving factor of not being a quitter? And I was like, I literally didn't have anything to say. And I was like, you're right. And he's like, why would you spend your time and literally be torturing yourself for something that you don't want at the end, that the payoff is not going to be good in the end? And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I withdrew last week and a week ago yesterday, and it has been so wonderful. Truly, it's been so wonderful. It's been a little bit hard for me to process because I have been working so hard, and honestly, I'm almost done, but I don't want to do it. And I was half-assing everything, and I don't like half-assing things. And it was like every mentor phone call that I had was torture. And I was coming up on having to figure out a time frame of starting student teaching. I was starting to have to like fill out the paperwork and get background checks and all of that. And that means I would have to quit my jobs. And I was heartbroken over that, like literally crying over that, because I love working my jobs. Like, I love it. I love being a medical assistant. And without like sounding like a narcissist, I'm actually really fucking good at it. And I don't want to quit my job. And I was thinking, like, I'm going to have to student teach for 6 months, and I'm not going to be able to stop student teaching and just come right back to where I am right now. So, like, I'm going to have to start all over, and I don't want to do that, you know? So then during ketamine and during my meditations that I do, I kept having this word come to my mind, and it was content, content. Like every meditation I was doing, it was content, content. And then it kind of hit me after my last ketamine session that I was like, why can I not just be content with where I am in my life right now? Why am I trying to force something to happen that I don't even want to happen? Like, why can I not just sit down, take a breath, and just be like, Tayler, I'm so happy with where I'm at right now, with my jobs, with teaching yoga, with how yoga is taking off, with my friends, with my family. Why can that not be enough? Why do I have to push for something more just to say that I did it? Like, why do I have to do that? Why can I not just be content with my life right now? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm being content with my life where I'm at right now. I have no idea what I'm going to do in the future. I definitely do want to go down like the mental health route. So whether that's therapy or whatever it is, that is definitely probably the path that I'm going to take. But for right now, I am just going to be content with my life right now.
I think that's great. And I also still want to remind you that I've been fucking telling you this answer for so long, and you would never listen to me or hear me. And it just goes to show you guys that, like, until someone wants to do something, they're not going to listen to you, because I've been fucking screaming this at you for a hot minute.
I know you have. And it is true. I wasn't in the mind frame to hear it. Also, I think,
Yeah. But that's just how it is though, you know, like that's what people I think sometimes forget is like I would never be upset that you weren't like doing anything about it, but there's people out there that like they're telling someone like what they're needing to hear, but they're not changing anything. And then they're like, why aren't you listening to me? What's wrong with you? And then they get mad and like ruin their relationship. And I think it's just like one of those reminders for people that like until people are ready, they have to want it for themselves. They have to reach these conclusions on themselves, and they have to be in a space to do that themselves. And no matter what you say or do, you can't change people. You can't fix things for them. You can't tell them what to do. Everyone has to go through it on their own time.
Yeah, 100% for sure.
I do
And
think that you have a lot more peace. Like I sense a lot of peace from you that I haven't like sensed in a long time. And I think it goes back to like you not having as much anxiety, and like you just like, I think you're content right now. Like I can feel that you're content because you're peaceful. You're not like anxious and stressing about all these different things. You're just like, eh.
I honestly have never had a job that I'm excited to go to in the morning, that I don't wake up and I'm like, oh, I just really don't want to work today. Like, I have the best coworkers. I work for the best doctors. And why would I want to leave that? Like, why would I want to leave that for something that I don't want to do with, which is teaching, you know? Like, Why can I not just have that be enough for right now? In the future, will I want to change that? Most likely, yes. But for right now, like, why can that not be enough for me? Why can that not be enough to walk into work and be like, I'm literally working with my friends today. Like, we're laughing, we're hanging out, like, we're laughing at this fucking weird ass nativity. If you guys follow me on Instagram, like, can that just be enough for me in regards to a job slash career? And for right now, yes, it can be.
I mean, I think sometimes like when I like, I don't know, this is just who I am as a person. And when I like think about like you and like the decisions you're making and like why I see you doing certain things, sometimes it makes me think about like when you first got into therapy and like your life was crazy at the time. Like you'd already dropped out of school before, you were
Mm-hmm.
working at Chuckarama, the affair had happened, and you went through this like critical time where it was like, make something of yourself. You keep quitting
Mm-hmm.
things. You don't know what you're doing. And it was like this huge focus that your therapist kept putting you through. And sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
think that you are still in that mindset. And that's why I was like,
Mm-hmm.
quitting, you can't quit because then what's Tony going to think? He's going to think, oh, here she's back to the same person. Or what's my friends and family going to think because I already did this before? What's my
Mm-hmm.
therapist going to think? So it's like, I think because when things hit the fan back then, when you like reach that like point in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you'd already done all of those things and you worked so hard to not be that person again, that the fear of being that person again was making you just do things that you didn't want to do because you felt like you had to
Mm-hmm.
prove something to yourself and to others, but it wasn't making you happy. And instead of being able to identify like, this actually doesn't make me happy and I don't care what anyone thinks, like your opinion doesn't actually matter, my opinion of myself matters, that was driving you and you couldn't even like process it because there was too much going on.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly it. Is I did have this idea in my head of, if I don't do things 1,000%, that I wasn't good enough. And it's like, but why though? Like, I'm really good at my job. I get paid really well. What else do I need? Like, honestly, and I enjoy the job. Like, what else do I need at this moment in my life? Like, why can that not be good enough? Why am I trying to force this just to say I have a degree? Like, a ton of people don't have a bachelor's degree, and it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like, it just, you're right. It was this idea in my head that I had to be better and be better and constantly be better and be better, do something bigger, which at that time in my life, I absolutely needed that because I was not doing anything. But right now, I am doing stuff and I am good. Like, I am being better right now every
You
day.
know, I'm just starting to realize I don't think you stop and appreciate all the dumb shit that you've accomplished. Not
I
dumb shit, but
don't.
like that's just the way I talk, but like you haven't stopped to like validate yourself enough. And that's why you've been chasing and chasing and chasing because
Mm-hmm.
you haven't stopped to be like, holy shit, I'm a badass. Look at all this stuff I've done and just like sat in those feelings enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just like skipped past them too quick and like felt like you had to keep going.
Yeah. And it really hit me. So last Wednesday is when I withdrew, and I kind of just had like a self-care day. I went and got a pedicure, like made a good dinner. I read my tarot cards, like all this stuff. And I did think about that. And I was like, okay, because I was kind of in my head of like, I'm a quitter, I'm a failure. Like, did I just make this huge mistake? Like, I should call my mentor back and be like, never mind, enroll me back in all my classes. Like, I'll finish. And I was sitting in my office, like getting ready to read my cards. And I was like, I have accomplished a lot. Like, you remember back in Napa when we were talking about like all of this. And like, I told you guys like how much money I made an hour. I make triple that now. And that was a year
Dang.
and a half later. And it's like, they don't just hand out raises for nothing. And then I had to like be like, Tayler, you're really, really good at your job. You got your associate's degree, which was so hard. I definitely don't give myself enough credit for how hard that was, and that I have it hanging on my wall and that I can look at that every day and be like, holy shit, like that was really freaking hard. I did that. Like, why do I need a second degree to prove that to myself? Like, I definitely have made such big accomplishments that I have to like remind myself, like, you're not a failure just because you quit something that you didn't want to do. That just means that there's something bigger and better out there for you.
Well, and I think it's kind of similar to like, it's really similar to how I feel about like Jaden and stuff, like other people have expectations of how your life should go, and that doesn't mean that's for you. Like, like that, you can have whatever kind of life you want. Just because other people have different types of jobs doesn't define yours or say anything about your job. Like every
Mhm.
job really is important. Everyone's journey really is important. And if that's not for you, that's that's totally fine, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. So, yeah, that's where my life is right now. Kind of crazy. I feel like I have so much more free time. I do not have that black cloud hanging over myself of like, I have to be doing homework. My yoga classes are night and day difference, way better because I'm actually focusing more on it. Like, my whole brain is focusing on it. And it's only been a week and I am just living my best freaking life. It's wonderful.
It's exactly that Oprah quote where you can't have more shit if your hands are already full of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I do think that maybe you withdrawing from school fucked with me a little bit because now that you say that, I haven't done homework. I haven't even, I signed up for my new class last week, haven't even touched it.
Sometimes you just need a
Maybe
break.
I withdrew too. Just kidding. No, I just like, I don't know. I don't really give a shit right now. Not a bad way, but I'm like, I'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny though, because when I was at my last job, I was like so dedicated and had to get school done because I was like, I think in my mind, I kept thinking this will help me get my next job because I already knew I was trying to get a new job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I had more like focus of like, the sooner you get this, the more people are going to want you. Like, you have
Yeah.
to get this. And now that I have a job, I'm like, well, huh,
I
it's
feel
fine.
like as a, what's even the word? Like as people and careers and just the world, I feel like we've evolved so much that like, I feel like back when we were like teenagers in middle school and stuff, you had to have a college degree to do things. And now I feel like I mean, it's good to have one, still go to college if that's what you really want to do, but like I feel like there are ways around it now, for
I
sure.
definitely think in like the industry and the like level of business badass that I plan to be, I knew I would need it. Like, I reached a point where I was like, all right, your actual abilities will only get you so far. At some point, there's going to be people backing this funding that they're going to be like,
Mhm.
well, she doesn't have a degree and this person does. So we
Mhm.
need that person. But I also think that, um, I think that once I established that I wasn't going to put pressure on myself to finish all of my classes so I could graduate with this term, because I definitely could have done that
Mhm.
because I don't have very many classes left. I was like, I'm either gonna bust ass and knock this out and not have to pay any more tuition, or I'm gonna just take it easy and like accept what it is because I could bust ass and then still come up like one or two short, and then I'd still have to
Mhm.
pay the whole semester for those one or two classes. So I was like, let's just make it easy and
Yeah.
we'll see what pace I go at. And if I get there, great. And if not, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But that's also like, I don't know. I think that because I know that it's the holidays too, I'm kind of like, it's typical for
Holidays are
like,
so hard.
yeah, I haven't, this week has been wild. Like, I've been at the office every day. That's been a whole shift. Like, it's been nutso.
Mhm. Yeah, so yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. That is where I'm at.
I think it's a good place.
It is. I feel very much at peace. I feel very happy. I feel like myself. I feel excited for the future about things that I want to do. Like Shelby and I want to get into the Airbnb business. I want to expand yoga like into retreats and all of the things. And now I have time to do that. And I'm just really excited. And honestly, everything that am doing right now has just presented itself to me. And so I feel like whatever I'm meant to do in the future, I'm going to know when it happens. So I'm not stressing about it right now. There's no point
Yeah.
in stressing about it.
Your purpose is like still there, even though you're
Mm-hmm.
not in school, like you still
Mm-hmm.
have purpose and like what's meant for you is in your life right now. And all you're doing is getting rid of the shit that's not meant for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So my word for the next year, 2023, I already know
Shit, you already picked it?
it's going to be content. And I feel like that is just what it needs to be, because that is the word that just keeps coming to me through everything that I do. So, word for 2023, even though we're not even talking about 2023 yet, is content.
I need to make time to like go through all of my goals and stuff for next year. I really should schedule that, because if I don't schedule it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't even come up with a word this year.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I
well,
was like
that's okay.
I was like a wandering soul this year. I don't even fucking know, man.
But that's good for you, I think.
I mean, I kind of had a word in the back of my mind, but like not really.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I
my
don't know.
word, which we'll go over all of this, but my word was transform. And I feel like I have completely transformed. So it was a good word to pick.
Yeah. Way to hit right on target at the end of the year. You just hit it right on time.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, if you guys are wanting to do ketamine, have any questions about ketamine, please reach out to me. Even about cannabis, reach out to me as well, because we also do that at my office and I know a lot about that. So if you have any questions about these other therapy healing modalities, please let me know, because obviously I love to talk about it. So
Fabulous. Well, I think that's it.
yeah, I think so. I don't think we have an asking for a friend tonight,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we
I forgot.
haven't even opened up the messages. So we'll hit that next week.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys. I kind of just forgot until right this moment. So,
Same.
anyways, it's kind of a long episode though, so it works out. But make sure you're following us. Like, subscribe. Please give us a rating. Please give us a review. They help us so much. So please take 5 seconds and do that. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Let me know if you think Britney Spears is dead. And we love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.